We are live. Welcome back to the James McGee Show. I am your host. I am James McGee, and we're going to get down to it. So you can see we have Candace is back with us. Jason from One More, and I'm out here, but not pictured. We've been trying to get him for a while. Is Andrew Pappas. He is one of Jason's co-hosts of One More, and I'm out of here. And we're really excited about, when I thought about what the subject would be, Pappas, I thought about you because I know you were very big on small government. And so I started thinking about it. I'm gonna play the video in a minute. We did a show last week, and when Candace, when we closed, we all had closing remarks. When we closed, on Candace's part, she talked about that. I'm gonna play the video. Then I just started thinking about, what is small government. So I'm gonna first off, Pappas, you got anything you want to say about you that you want our listeners to know about you, or you don't give a fuck?
Well, I think you know me better to know that if I gave a shit, I'd have been talking already. So I really don't give two shits.
So you're one of the hosts with you are a and we just met in person at Jason's. Well, you didn't go to the wedding.
It was a beautiful wedding. A beautiful wedding. I cried at the whole wedding. I was so touched. As a matter of fact, I was so overcome with emotion that I had to bow out. I was crying so badly that I just was a mess, and I had to leave early.
Well, we Beth and I both enjoyed, our time with you. But so just to give our listeners a little bit, you're not from the Cincinnati area, but you've been around there a long time, owned some businesses there. You were what do y'all call it over there? The
township trustee. How many terms did you do, Andrew? I can't remember.
I did 2 terms. Each stint was 4 years. So I spent 8 years sitting in public office, having my having every wrinkle on my nethers examined by every liberal female in town that wanted to crawl up my ass.
Yep.
They loved that.
It was a well, what I've found about Candace, you can probably agree with this or second this. What I've found is that liberal women, if you dive down into it, liberal women have a very big void in their life. Okay. And what void is missing is a strong man in their life. They're usually married to beta males. They are usually very, very unhappy at home, usually in the sexual department. And they've taken out that anger and void, and they seek to fill it by some other source of meaning or work in their lives. And that has been shown over and over and over again when I've interacted with these ladies. And to be honest with you, I used to, back in my younger days, I just turned 60 last week. And I will tell you what's occurred to me while I'm 60. James, if you thought I didn't give a shit before, I give even less of a shit now that I'm 60.
Yeah.
I can attest.
So I found that what usually there's something in have you noticed? So I heard that they're having, and I go all over the place, you guys know this. So I hear we're having another No Kings Day coming up on the 18th.
Because the first one was just so well received.
Yeah, it was so
successful, and so really, so we're going to have another one, a No Kings Day, and I'm just sitting here. If you look at the pictures, aided and abetted by a willing media that spreads the message of, oh my God, if you look, every newspaper, every ratbag newspaper in the country is sharing on their social media pages how the 18th we're going to have another No Kings rally, and here's the locations, all this free media that they're giving this bunch of flea bags. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, look at the crowd, and what do you notice? You just notice predominantly, I would say, from what I've seen the photographs, is probably 70% angry women, a 30% men.
Angry women.
Well,
James, my story goes along with this so well. This is like perfect.
Oh, good. Okay.
Some are fat. Some are just otherwise physically challenged in some way. where they fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. And then you have a 30% men that are there holding their bag, the ladies' purses, because the females have the men's testicles somewhere at home and the men aren't allowed to bring them out. And I'm just tired of it. I'm just, I don't understand. You lost the election. Okay, I get it. You lost the election. And you don't like Donald Trump. I get that too. But on the very day after Donald Trump returns from the Middle East with a historic peace accord,
Yes.
where we see that he was able to have the release of all of the hostages, plus the dead bodies that these people kept for 2 years. And you cannot have the grace to just say, you know what, maybe we should just be cool for a little while. Maybe we should just, let shit happen. Maybe we should not bitch and moan.
Yeah, chill the fuck out for a second.
You lost the election. Elections have consequences. And I think the general public is just tired of this shit. I feel like our country is moving in a direction where we're really becoming two independent camps that not only don't want to talk to each other, but to be very frank and actually sadly frank, we don't much like each other anymore. And that's not good. So we'll see where this leads. King's Day, good luck with you. You know what? I hope I don't see any. I'll stand on the side of the road if I'm with a buddy that's driving a diesel truck and he can roll coal on you. But whatever. So that's a little bit about me.
That's a little bit about me.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna play this video. It's from our last show. When I do the show afterwards, just like y'all do, Jason, I cut shorts. Well, I don't do anything. AI does it all. But I was watching this short when Candace did her closing, and it made it. And I'll explain afterwards. It really got me thinking. So which is kind of dangerous, Pappas. But I'm gonna go ahead and add this one. Yeah, Pappas, can you see or not?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna play it.
My best closing thought, and it may not be 100% on topic, but I think it's important for people to know that conservatives voted for Trump because he was the closest thing to those values. I don't think that we're all like, Trump is my daddy. We value him as our president, but it's what will get us closest to small government. And that's exactly what we're dealing with right now, whether it be the shutdown, whether it be the ICE enforcement, all of that is for the greater goal of small government. And that's why we vote Republican. So, again, the people that take to the comments, the maggots, the MAGA this, the racist, the whatever they have to say, we are fundamentally about small government. And that means that shit's going to get a little small. So you might lose your benefits. You might have to go back to your fucking country. Like, shit's going to get a little small. We apologize, kind of. But it's what we want, and it's what we voted for. And it's about small government is freedom.
I think that says a lot, and I'll tell you, Candace, I started thinking about it after I saw the short, and what it made me think, and here's a benefit, Pappas, you'll like this. Here's a benefit to me, I'm not real bright, and I think you'll agree, Pappas. But a benefit to that is I simplify things pretty well. So I started thinking after I watched Candace say that again, I'm like, okay, we always talk about small government. And you hear that as a kind of a punchline, but what does it really mean? So what does it mean? How do we get there? Can we even get there at this point? So I started breaking it down, and the way I simplified it was the government was meant to govern and to basic needs for groups of people. And when I say small government, where I think we got away from it was, groups of people, public safety, police, Jason, fire, EMS, for groups of people. Where I think we got large was when we started dealing with individuals, and we started raising grown adults, and we started giving handouts and entitlements. And, the government should step in natural disasters. The government should build roads. That's general. That's in the public. But when we start living people's lives for them, that's when the government, to me, has gotten really, really big, because we're trying to solve every grown adult's problem for them instead of the basic needs of public safety that we pay plenty of fucking taxes for, that the government should be provided. So that's what I started. I want to hear what y'all's and Candace, you brought this topic up. I want to hear everybody's thoughts of what does small government mean, and then we'll go to the other ones. I want to know how we can get there, if we can even get there. But what does small government mean to you, Candace?
All right, so first, I got to start with the story because it sums a lot of this stuff up, and it really goes to what Pappas was saying. It's great. You'll enjoy it.
That's fucking scary to begin with.
Yes, it's scary, but it's already going off the rails. So my husband and I, we went to an event this weekend, and we were sitting at a table with people we didn't know, and two people came up to us, one of which was, I guess, a woman and her husband. She was definitely younger than I. I'm 38. She was probably early 30s. She already had a good time at cocktail hour, if you catch my drift.
Yep.
And she's just like drunk and silly, but not to the point of being obnoxious at that point. So we're making jokes and we're having a good time. We're introducing ourselves, and we're at a wedding. And she then starts talking about how her and her husband didn't have a wedding. They went to the courthouse. And then all of a sudden she starts kind of like word vomiting all of the aspects of her life. For instance, she had abortion when she was 23. Why is she telling me this? Don't fucking know. Because she can't afford to have children. Because the government doesn't pay enough for her to have children. She can't take off a maternity leave. And then she starts hanging on my husband and saying, "You look like you're really rich." He says to me later, he was like, "Can, I bought my suit for $200 fucking at Kohl's the day before. Like, what is this bitch?" You know, like
What
she's
the
just literally. So she's like hanging on him and just acting like a complete idiot. And I don't get offended because I know him enough to know that this is the equivalent of somebody vomiting on him. He couldn't be any more repulsed. But because we're not assholes, we are just kind of like dealing with it.
You placate as much as you can where you're comfortable. Like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Exactly.
So you're like Pappas's wife. You know what it's like to be married to a stud.
Exactly. So she's
Was she hot? Hey, let me ask. Can I interject here for a second?
Yeah.
Was she hot?
Was
she hot?
She was a 6. I'm not a blonde, fan, but she was like a 6. Okay. Had the nose ring, of course. Then she's talking about how she hates her biological father. She loves her stepfather. And her husband is sitting there with his phone propped up on his glass watching a hockey game. Not even really like just laughing her off, whatever.
So he's a cuck.
Baby.
Yeah.
So
let me pull up a chair. Hold on. Let me fluff this thing up for a second.
It was a mess. It was a complete and utter mess. And when we finally got out of there, I turned to my husband and I said, "That is a typical liberal woman right there. Typical liberal woman." And that's who they are. And this man is completely emasculated. He's looking at somebody like my husband who eventually they learned that he was an attorney. So she's like, "Oh my God, he looks so rich," and blah, blah, blah. And this poor schlub is sitting there like praying to God that, his hockey team wins, not even paying attention to his drunk ass wife, who is just a hot mess. And he probably deals with this every week. And I'm thinking, this is the liberal mentality. I would never act like that. I've never acted like that. I don't think anybody in my immediate circle acts like that. And it just comes to show this is the typical liberal mentality where they are beyond belief with unhealed trauma. They don't know how to have any sort of meaningful relationships. And it all circles around who can take care of them and who can provide them what they think that they need while completely telling everybody else to go fuck themselves.
And I was going to add on to that, like to have wholesome interaction of discussion. Mm-hmm. Hey, what's your name? Oh, I'm so-and-so. What's your husband's name? Oh, this is my husband. This is where are you guys from?
Right.
How are you connected? Mm-hmm. Why are you here? Like the normal things.
Normal. You're exactly right. Like how to interact like a normal human being. That was not happening. And again, it's the typical liberal mentality. So when you go back to, okay, what is small government? My husband and I are loving on the John Adams series on HBO Max. Watch it. It's actually really great.
I haven't seen it yet, but I want to.
And I suck really bad at like historical documentaries. It's like narcolepsy for me. You put that shit on, I'm done. But this one, I love it because it's definitely engaging. And especially since I've had more of a voice. And you look at what those people did and what their idea of independence was and what they created. They created government to be so small that the only time it should intervene is when people couldn't regulate themselves and be normal human beings. That was the only time they wanted government intervention. And now look at what we have. So even James, when you're saying like things like roads, things like, taking care of this, I don't think government should fucking do any of it. Okay. My Pennsylvania state taxes are high. We have one of the highest gas taxes. My roads still look like shit. You want to know why? Because the government's handling it. I don't think the government should be involved in any aspect of daily life whatsoever. And that was the fundamental principles of things like the Declaration of Independence. It was about maintaining maximum independence with government only stepping in when people lost their fucking minds and couldn't control themselves.
Well,
Which is every day.
this discussion, first of all, the reason that woman at your table was clearly she's given up any semblance of reliance upon a man in her life, and the man has been replaced by Uncle Sam. So the government has replaced the role of the man in her life. Remember, she said, I can't afford to have the children because the government isn't going to pay me. Well, it's not the government. And guess what? The government's not going to inseminate you either. Although when you pay your taxes, it feels like they are. At the end of the day,
some poor drunk guy at the bar is going to do it, unfortunately.
That's right.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. You said this discussion is about what really is small government. And James asked, can we get back to that? And I submit to you all that we will never get back to small government.
No.
I agree.
We have unless there is a fundamental correction financially to our currency, okay, which could happen. I mean, gold right now stands at $4,100 an ounce. I want you to comprehend that. $4,100 an ounce is the price of gold, okay? What in the world makes you think that we're going to get back to any semblance of a fiscal policy in this country that makes any sense? It's not going to happen.
No,
it's not going to happen.
I completely agree, and I'll throw an analogy in there. Just with the way the world has gone and what we've allowed to happen, is that rubber band has lost its elasticity. It's not going back. Like it's never going to go back to.
Jason, are you still there?
Jason, are you there?
I can hear him.
I can hear him.
I can hear him.
No, we lost James. Oh, we lost James.
No.
Honey, make me a pot pie. Mom, give me some meatloaf. Mom, yes on the meatloaf.
He'll jump back in, but
he'll jump back in. It's
just
internet.
That rubber band that where it started way back when, and we started giving and giving and giving and giving freebies. Yeah. That rubber band's never going back to the size that it was, because that's not what people are going to allow.
It is not a whole that have become so utterly and completely dependent upon government for dictating what decisions they're going to make. Oh man, James is actually gone. He's going to come back.
He'll be back here.
All right, we're taking over his show.
It's the James McGee show without James. But
it's the not James McGee show for now.
Look, it's not going to happen. Now the question is, and Candace, I love the fact that you're watching that series. And I love the fact that you're passionate about what the role of government should be, because if and when there is a correction, for example, I'll ask you both, do you know what the largest line item is in the federal budget today?
Oh, the biggest line item? Is that what you asked?
What's the biggest line item in the federal budget? What are we spending? What is the largest thing eating up the federal government today? It may not be what you think it is.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's not.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it may
mean,
not be.
I
don't
was
wanna
going to
be
say
too
like
cryptic.
welfare benefits
that's where I was going to go.
because it's a third of the country.
The interest on the debt is now chewing up more than anything else in the budget, and that is only
Interesting.
going to grow because by having so much debt that is rolling over and rolling over and rolling over. And what happens is, like we've had the little uptick in the interest rates as of when Biden was in office, is created a debt bomb where it's ballooning. How long this can continue, I don't know. And I don't mean to be so, I know it sounds so, dooms and gloom, and I hate to say that, but I don't think we're going to get, let's deal with reality. We could wish for lollipops and unicorns, but, you can shit in one hand and wish in the other. Problem is that until we get enough people that feel the pain of these fiscal decisions that we've made, it's not going to change. I mean, for example, let me ask you this, Candace, you're up there in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Jason and I, we had this on our show last week. The government now has been closed for, going on 2 weeks. What's changed in your life?
Nothing. We said that on last show. The only thing that we encounter is my husband's an employment lawyer, so the EEOC is closed, which they don't do jack shit when they're open anyway. So we're like, all right, same shit, different day. You know what I mean? Like there's zero impact. And I think that's very telling. And I wish people would pay attention to that because the Democrats are trying to make you think, oh, everything's closed. The federal workers. We're paying a lot of money to a lot of people that really don't do much to run our world. That's a problem too.
That's a problem too. And until the general public wakes up and says, you know what? We've had 2 weeks without the government being open, and my life's gotten by just fine. Why am I paying all this money to this shit?
Unless you have something directly affecting you, like Candace said, the EOC office, whatever. But
there he is. Now he's back. James, are you alive? We were going to do a wellness check. Wellness check on James.
He's
James, 1, 2, 3.
He's checked into the old folks.
I think. Well, now he's going to call you.
I'm back.
All right.
But no, so like in our situation,
I'm back. So y'all got me. I moved.
We got you.
We got
I sense that you moved.
We didn't talk a whole lot about you. Don't worry.
No, we did not. We just and now we will say nice things about you now that you're back.
Right.
But
it's okay
no, we're talking about the fact, James, that
never mind, Pappas. I was just fucking talking.
Well, I want to bring him up to speed. He was gone for 2 minutes.
I feel like you were literally sitting right next to me, like right here.
This is what normally happens on our show. But I mean, James, Candace brought up a great point and about the government and relying on them, and I said I just don't want to be pessimistic here.
Can y'all hear Papa?
I can. Yeah. So James is cutting out again. Oh Lord.
James is a hot mess.
James, you gotta stick the ISDN cable in the alligator's ass down there in Louisiana. Okay?
Yeah, you gotta do like a crank thing. Just crank it up. It'll be fine.
Pat your head, rub your belly. You gotta do all the things.
But I mean, Candace, do you find it? I mean, you're in the belly of the beast. You're in a blue state. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that has got to be interesting.
Fucking frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, so you're in a blue state where you're surrounded by people. Or how close to either Philadelphia or Pittsburgh are you?
Well, truthfully, where I am, it's as red as can be. So really the only blue areas of Pennsylvania are traditionally parts of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So I am about 2 hours from Philly and I'm about 5 hours from Pittsburgh. So I'm in red country, essentially.
Yeah, your state politics are dictated by Philadelphia and
Pittsburgh. Exactly. And it's incredibly frustrating. The only time I was proud to live here was actually this election because we essentially decided it. I mean, Trump needed Pennsylvania and we gave it to him, but it was like we had to beg, borrow, and steal for that. I don't know if that trajectory is going to stay the same, even though every single blue city is full of shit. It's all, inner city ideology that's garbage, that isn't ran correctly, of high crime, high taxes, poverty up the ass. It's the consistent story everywhere. But yeah, my state is frustrating as all hell. And I have to add that our state has had some really shitty Republicans, like Tom fucking Corbett, who hiked up our gas tax to what we have now.
Yeah.
So you have people that are
I'll trade you a Tom Corbett for Mike DeWine, because Mike DeWine, the first thing first thing our quote unquote Republican governor did before the ink was dry on the election certification papers was come into office. And what was the first thing he did, Jason? What was the first act he did, Jason?
Oh, fuck. Hey, he fucked a bunch of shit up, Andrew.
So much.
Gasoline tax. He raised the gasoline tax.
Oh, yeah.
And so my
no idea
point
where
is,
You know why they do the gasoline tax? Because they can hide behind that gasoline tax because you really don't see it. It's not like it's added into the gallon of gas. So it's not like you go to, you think you go there, it's $3 and then it's, $3.30 or whatever. It's already in there. So you really don't notice that. People don't realize how much gas tax you're paying.
Well, they don't read it. It is actually on the gas pumps, but you don't really read it. And the way they hide it, you're exactly right. So, they do the easy thing. And she's right, though. We're not led by strong Republicans that stick to their core principles that demonstrate what smaller government is really about. And, I hope to God I'm wrong. Maybe I will be. I think that today being Charlie Kirk's birthday, and I have to salute Candace. You have red on. I see James has his red shirt on, and I think I can tell from the sexy moonlighting that
it's red.
Keith is wearing a red shirt. You can't see me, but
and I turned the lights red.
Your shirt was blue. I just want to call you the fuck out because you're not wearing red.
Well, I changed it. Now I'm just hairy. So I'm sitting here shirtless.
Yeah, that's a sweater. That's a sweater. Because it's turning into sweater weather.
In Texas.
In Texas, right. But, you guys tell me. I mean, you're talking facts. You're preaching truth. But do you honestly think that the general public, and I'm talking about people your friends, your peers, do you think they're willing to undergo the pain that would necessarily occur because to wean them off of the public teat of government? Seriously.
No, because they would have had to have learned that when they were born. And that's the issue. There's so many people dependent on government because they have been raised that way. And that's why you have the inner city shit that you have. And that's why you have this mentality of these just insane liberals that are being raised this way. So it's a generational issue. It's a societal issue, not necessarily a government issue. If people were raised differently to have some sort of clout within themselves to take the bull by the horns and make their own destiny and have that chip on their shoulders like our generations of parents did, you would see people that did not want government assistance. But you don't, because they're raised to have a handout.
Oh, and it's generational, and it's this is the way the world works now, guys. So when you have a child, you're gonna get it, and then grandson, when you have a child, everybody that pays taxes is gonna pay for your Marlboros, your pint of liquor, whatever the fuck it is, because now we don't even regulate what you can get off of was it WIC and EBT and all of it. Used to be regulated. You got this, or this.
And sadly, the government shutdown deals exactly with this, because why is the government shut down? What are the Democrats holding out for?
Money for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right. Candace nailed it. You're both correct. You're both correct. They're holding out to reinstate the Obamacare healthcare subsidies that were already set to expire in the original legislation. But because government, and these are our elected officials, not necessarily my elected officials, but these are proverbially our elected officials that shit or get off the pot, and they don't want to shit or get off the pot. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to say that, first of all, I love your passion. I think it's fantastic. And I think you're right on the money. But James, you asked a question, what really is small government? And I would say, quite simply, most Americans don't know what small government is anymore. They have no idea what small government is anymore. If the first thing that you do is when you have to do something, for example, I imagine James is in the backwaters of Louisiana. And James, what do they refer to the people in your region of Louisiana?
Swamp people?
No, you know.
No.
We are referred to. Yeah, so we are referred to as coonasses.
Oh my God,
crap.
James!
That was-
Have you ever heard that term, Candace?
I have actually.
Now
I've been to Nolans.
He
James-
dropped
Okay,
dropped
so-
it on our podcast, and it was absolutely amazing.
And now, what I love about your that region of the country, very individualistic people. You don't go down to the swamp.
Mhm.
Okay, they take care of their own. Meaning, city people don't go down the swamp and mess around. They take care of their own. They're very individualistic. They're survivors. But my point in saying all this is, we are sadly the people that think like you, Candace, the people that live like the people in James's neck of the woods, the people that think like Jason and I. We're now considered the outliers. We're the ones that are what's wrong with this country. We're the ones that are crazy. We're the ones that need to learn, get with the program, and go march in your No King's Day. And how we turn this ship around, I don't know. I would say that, when the first thing you do, if you had to, James, I mean, I know you're in a city, but, a lot of people out there in the country, if you had to go build something, you go buy the lumber and you build it, right? You go buy or find a contractor and you build it, you put it up. You need a barn, you build it up. You don't go to the city and say, well, do I need a permit to, do I need to get a permit, and does someone need to review this? And is this meet your OSHA? Am I building in a wetlands, and do I, drainage and all this other bullshit that did serve a purpose maybe at one particular time, but the onerous arm of the government is so intertwined with everybody's life. The first thing I like to hang out with the people that, I would rather sometimes ask for forgiveness than permission. Meaning, I'm not going to go to the government and say, can I do this? Because we are supposed to be, as Candace mentioned earlier, we're supposed to be a free people.
Yeah. Well, I got a good story for that. So behind me, if you see right behind me, I'm on my back patio now. So about 100 yards down, I live on a creek off of the river, and I have alligators in my backyard a lot of times. So we with the hurricane, you get a lot of debris in the water.
You weirdo.
So we get a lot of debris in the water. So last year I rented a excavator, and I went in and started cleaning out the creek. And it didn't have a lot of debris, but it was just mud and gut, and it wasn't draining good. And I wanted a place where kids could come and they could fish. So I'm cleaning it out. Got an excavator. Well, the Army Corps of Engineers show up. Well, first thing, I had talked to the drainage board, and they told me, because my creek is private, it was dug when they built the subdivision. It runs off the main river, but I own the actual creek. So they said, no, we're not doing that because it's private. But then they show up, the Army Corps of Engineers show up, want to shut me down. So I said, fuck you. You told me it was my responsibility.
Yep.
You weren't going to fix it. You weren't going to fix the drainage issue. But then when I start, you show up over here to shut me down. I said, you can go fuck yourself. And they left, and I just kept doing what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that.
And it's amazing. It's amazing because we're talking about small government, and we're hitting both sides of it, which I find amazing, because I live in the township where Pappas was a trustee, and we have a zoning board, and you have to get, and within our county that we live in, you have to get permits and whatever. Well, I didn't get a permit to extend my deck out. I just did it, but I over-engineered the shit out of it. Like, I was way over and above what the permit would have called for.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a neighbor who, ringy-dingy, called the township. Some dude shows up, and I'm out there, and I know enough to get me in trouble. Like, I'm not like a super construction guy, but I know enough. But I over-engineered the shit out of this. And you could have parked a fire truck on it by the time it was done. And guy comes over to the fence. He's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm sitting there taking a break, drinking a beer. I'm like, fuck. All right, here we go. I was like, hey man, what's going on? I said, just replacing some deck boards and whatnot. Yeah, obviously I fibbed. And he goes, those look like new pylons and everything else. I was like, I mean, I kind of power washed them, whatever, made them look new. It's all bullshit. He goes, I was like, who called? I said, just let me know who called, and if I have to stop right now, then tell me I'm stopping because I'm not putting any more effort or money into this motherfucker. He goes, oh no, I'm not. I didn't see shit. He goes, you're like 3 times more than what you need to be, but he goes, just FYI, your neighbors are watching. But like you talk about small governments, we have our township government, but then we also have to deal with our county government because they want their money, they want their piece for that permit, whatever it may be. So it's like you have to be careful with. I agree with the small government, but you have to be careful what you wish for because then it's like microscopic government. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, when do you own your property?
Never. Apparently, never.
Exactly.
What's that?
Exactly.
I can
When
pay
do
my
you own
mortgage
the-
off, but I still have to pay property taxes. That's fucking
exactly.
bullshit.
That is
You never own your property.
correct.
You never own your property.
Correct. Now that is gaining some that thought is gaining a lot of popularity in the United States. I don't see, having been involved in government and knowing where the lion's share of the money comes from, I do not know how you will get to the point. I don't think you can stop feeding the beast in saying that property taxes are, now null and void and we're going to have just, done away with. I don't see how that happens.
No way.
However, on the flip side, I asked the question, when do you own your property? And James is exactly right. You don't own it. You never do own your property.
You're renting it from the fucking government just to exist.
Once you pay the bank off, you're renting it from the government for the rest of your life. And that also is, doesn't, as Candace started the show with, talking about our founding fathers, I don't know how that would sit with them either. We've wandered so
That wasn't
far.
part of the plan.
Nope.
I was in real estate for 4 years, and I will tell you what, I could not have gotten out of it fast enough. Number one, it's I started in 2020 like every other fucking person, and number one, it was blood money, legitimate blood money. Like it gave me the ick to get thousands of dollars for just you're ripping people off all day long. You're saddling 20-year-olds with $4,000 a month mortgages, and you're like, oh yeah, you could refinance in a couple years, have fun. All of it is such bullshit, and getting used to all the zoning and all the laws and all the governmental bullshit was such a turn off as well, because there's, especially here, Pennsylvania used to not be like that, and now you're getting more and more little government hubs of things like short-term rental laws and zoning laws and all this other bullshit that is really, I mean, I'm in the Poconos. Like, this was kind of like the Wild West back in the day, and it's not anymore. You have tons of government bureaucrats that are just looking to charge you $100 for this and $25 for that, and it's just like little minions, and the whole experience just gave me the ick. And it was kind of like, I don't want my money tied to anything government wise. And that kind of made me feel icky. Like, I'm doing something for the government. They have to pay property tax. They have to pay transfer tax. Like, ugh, all of it just gave me the ick. It's, ugh. I could puke right now.
Well, I love the fact that we're having this discussion. And James, it is a great discussion. I think that a lot of what needs to be done is, if people understand the simple premise that, you don't ever own your property and the government owns it, and you're leasing it from the government through taxes. And if that's the case, then the government will always be able to somehow tell you what to do, because they really own the property, and you're just a lifelong tenant for all intents and purposes. If you stop paying those property taxes, I can guarantee you won't own your property for very long. Right. And James, I gotta salute you. I mean, I'll be honest with you, brother. I thought I had some big cojones, but if the Army Corps of Engineers showed up on my property and started sticking their finger where it didn't belong, I'd kind of pucker up pretty tight. So you telling them to go fuck yourself is enviable, my friend. You have my newfound respect for sure.
Yeah, I just, what are they going to do? They're going to beat me up? I mean, I just, they can shut me down. But I was at the point where it just didn't matter to me. Not that guy, but it rubbed me wrong. I rent an excavator, and I'm doing it because y'all said y'all wouldn't do it.
Right.
You can't get them to do fucking nothing, but then you start doing it, and they want to shut you down.
Mm-hmm.
But we were considering, when I retired, I got a lump sum on the drop on.
No, we lost him again.
Damn it! We're about to hear where the money was buried.
I know. Right?
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Was 2.1%. So we got a really good interest rate. So we started doing the math, and our half of our house note is insurance and property taxes. So why would we pay it off?
Yeah, that we've had that exact conversation as well. My
'Cause you
husband's
still owe
this is
that.
the same. Yeah. Exactly. He said the same thing. What's the point of paying off our mortgage? Because this is a fixed interest. It's one of our lowest interest rates. What the fuck's the difference? Like, you're not paying it to zero. You're still going to have half of your mortgage payment you're still going to need to pay every month. You're not really doing anything. And it's a shame that we think that way.
And the little bit of it, at least here.
And then you have to pay it in a lump sum. You can't not paying it by the month, and you're paying it in a lump sum.
Right.
Right. Or every 6 months or whatever. Because I have a friend of mine who has a house that's paid off, but he's like, oh fuck, it's tax time.
Yeah.
But he pays his biannually, and he was like, oh, I got to stroke this fucking check. And he's retired, older guy, on a fixed income, and he's like, son of a bitch. So it's like, we're you don't win any which way but lose.
Right. And now my county is under like there's like a little bit of a mutiny because they are reassessing, and they're doing it again in a shorter period of time. They had just reassessed.
Yes.
And you know what they're doing, shady motherfuckers? I'm just waiting, because now they're taking drones and they're flying them over and they're looking at everything you've done to your property. So we completely gutted, remodeled, and extended our home 2 years ago. And we've already been reassessed. And we're waiting on another reassessment because once that little fucking drone flies over, they're going to be like, all right, I see you have this, and we have this, and we have this, and we have this. Yeah. And it's like such you want to talk about fucking Nazi Germany? Okay, liberals? Like, that's fucking Nazi Germany. Going in and checking where, like, all the shit I built in my house so you can assess me more tax money that I have to pay. Like, that's fucking Nazi Germany, friends. Yeah. Like, really.
Yeah.
And Pappas, I don't know.
And when you built it, you pay taxes on the material.
Right. Everything.
And Pappas, I don't know if you've seen it on, obviously locally here, but I know a lot of people, and it's hit us because I have a house like as the crow flies, like 1,000 feet from here that I rent. I moved in with Jill into Jill's house, but like all the tax assessments went up.
Yep.
Now I have it written into my loan or my rental agreement that I said, hey, when you guys rent this, I'm just letting you know the people here in Anderson love to vote yes on tax levies. So,
oh Jesus Christ, he's right
every
about
time
that.
it goes up, your rent's going to go up. I'm just letting you know. I'm not making any more money. It's just going to make up that difference. So, I was very transparent.
But they'll shout that you're greedy. You're greedy.
But literally, I just had to have the conversation with my tenants who I know and are good people. But I'm like, hey, we have to have a conversation about the mortgage. And, she was like, fuck. Like, and they'd only been in since May. She's like, already? I was like, well, it just hit. Yep. So I'm just letting you know, your rent's going up $150 a month.
I don't know how it is in Pennsylvania or Louisiana, but if you put, school levies predominantly pass because it's for the children. Park levies predominantly pass because how could you be against parks? What do you hate? Trees? What do you hate? Fucking grass? What's wrong with you?
Oh, and I love it because my kids go to private school. So not only am I paying for public shit-ass school taxes, I'm paying private school tuition.
You're getting doubly fucked.
Yeah.
And Jill and I are in a house divided because obviously, my now I can say stepdaughter is in public schools, but I vote against every fucking school levy that comes up because I've seen them mismanage the money, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. Now Jill does because
I will vote yes.
she has mom guilt, and rightfully so. Like, I get it. I don't hate her for it. I don't think she's wrong. But I'm like, I have my vote. You have your vote. Let's just see how it comes out at the end.
Well,
And you always lose.
well, we sadly, and it's probably the same way there. Everyone thinks, first of all, I have a question that I don't think I've had answered. And it really occurred to me just the other day. I was somewhere and they were selling lottery tickets, and I'm old enough. I don't know. I might be the oldest one. James, how old are you?
Ooh, was that a bird?
54. You're way older than me, Pappas.
740.
God damn, I look so much younger than you. But anyhow, at the end of the day, the reason I mention it, I'm old enough to remember that when the state lotteries came out, that was supposed to be the magic bullet that fixed this funding to educate.
Yep.
Well, it's supposed to benefit older. It's supposed to benefit the older citizens of the state. At least that's what the bullshit line that my state gives.
The bullshit line in Ohio, in Texas, and every other state that had state lotteries implemented after I moved there was, oh, it's going to fund it. It's for the kids. It's for the kid. We're doing the lottery for the kids. And yet, even though that we have record lottery, pots that are going, it seems
Shit,
like
my neighbor spends like $500 a week.
Well,
Where's my tax break?
That's not smart. But my point is that, why is yet the cost of education out accelerated everything else? Why are our property taxes for our schools going through the roof? Why, if we have all this other sources of income to government? And then on top of that, Candace is paying property tax. She's paying for kids to go to school. And on top of that, she has to pay private education to send her kids to private school. And she gets no refund on the tax money that she's paid for the public schools. That happens.
No, in fact, I got a notice that it's going up. So they just high-fived me and said, thank you. We just need more of your money.
Well, then you have to pay for
thank you, suck it.
Yeah. And in Cincinnati, at least where Jason and I are, Catholic schools are the very, very popular. And many, I would say, not the majority, but a good chunk of our residents still pay for still vote for these school levies. It's for the children. And then because they've been conditioned to think that if you somehow vote a school levy down, Candace, you being in real estate.
Janice.
I said Candace. I said Janice. It's close. It's ACE. But I mean, my point is that how many times in real estate did you hear when you were in real estate? Oh, you can't vote against the school levy because your property value is going to go down. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to. Is that not correct? Do they have some misnomer that the more that you're paying for schools, the more desirable your neighborhood's going to be to live in? Is that not correct?
It's definitely the bullshit that they were peddling. And now everything is so all over the board because you have values that are so fucking inflated and crazy that, the shittiest of house is triple what I paid 10 years ago for my house. And it's really, it's not a consistent increase. Like, I understand cost of living, housing costs go up. This went from 2020, maybe about 25% more to 2023, 24, 150% more. There's a lot of foreign money here. I dealt with a lot of foreign clients coming from out of state that had lots of cash and were buying shit in cash, and it just fucked it all up. I couldn't even give you a real idea on value anymore because it's so unrealistic. It's like the algorithms they use for the stock market right now. None of it makes fucking sense.
Right. And
I would agree with
Andrew and I talk a bunch, on our podcast, and he always says, and I love the moniker of, elections have consequences. Mm-hmm. And we tell all our listeners, but even at the firehouse, I tell my younger guys, because I'm an old guy at the firehouse, hey, who did you vote for in your school board election? Because we're in election season. Mm-hmm. Who'd you vote for your, whether it's a city council where they live or your township trustee or whatever? Who did you vote for? Well, they're fixated on, well, I voted for Donald Trump or all the big president. What representative did you vote for? What congressman did you? They don't know. They have no idea. And that's where it starts. And it starts small. So like bringing it back into small government, it starts where the school board, because that's where most people get their springboard into something else. But that dictates everything.
Yeah.
Because then you get the Andrew Pappases who spent 8 years, 2 terms, getting his dick put into the fucking dirt by assholes.
Well, let's be fair. I really got to be honest with you. I did hate and love being in government.
It's
amazing.
amazing.
The reason why, let me say that.
Fucking gift.
I know, but Jason, yeah, I was not hounded. That's not the right word, but these people were up my ass. But I got to be honest with you. I like being hated, and it's okay with me.
Well, you didn't let me finish because you threw it back as hard as they brought it to you. Mm-hmm. But you have people that want the township or the city or the village to excel, but you have all these haters on the outside who won't get into the ring and actually put themselves out there and make things better. But you have people that, and our friend Josh is running right now, and our friend Lexi is running. Both of them, they're both running for re-election, and they're getting just absolutely smoked in social media wise. But they're both gracious and they both can handle it. But it's one of those things like, why does anybody want to do that? Because we're so fucking divided right now. Why does anybody want to do it?
Well, that gets back to my statement, and I asked the question, do you think, I mean, for example, Jason mentioned we have two of our friends are running for re-election, and 8 years in public office is enough. I mean, honest to God,
that's a
long time. I enjoyed it, but I enjoy it more being out of it because I have a lot of liberties now that I did not have then. But I will say that I think that we have fundamentally, you guys asked the question, the show is about small government. And we have so many people that will not accept the true, what should be, in my opinion, the true function of government, small government. So can we live together? I mean, I'm not advocating for violence. I'm not advocating, but we could have an amicable divorce. I mean, we could have an amicable divorce, and you might say, "Hey, Pappas, that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk." Well, we can all agree as rational thinking adults, we are in a fiscally unsustainable path. Okay, as a country, we cannot sustain our spending levels, and we don't have. I mean, hell, I feel like a fat guy at a freaking Old Country buffet. Meaning I'm a fat bastard. I know I'm going to have a heart attack. I know I'm going to get diabetes. But by God, they got that goddamn chocolate fountain over there with fruit and vegetables and all that other shit I can dip in that chocolate fountain. And I'm going to go over there and wrap my big fat lips around that chocolate fountain and drink that shit. Now, we are not willing to do as a country what we need to do to fix our fiscal problems. So my question is, do you think that we can, and to be fair, find me a Democrat. I mean, Candace, you are in a bluer state than either one of us is for the most part.
Yeah.
Name me a Democrat candidate, name me a Democrat office holder off the top of your head that you actually respect. You could say that's an honorable person. I think that we have difference of opinion, but they're honorable people. So please try that.
Okay, so I do have one example. So our old tax person, who was somebody who used to work with my husband, he was a tax attorney. He handled our taxes. He is a Democrat. He's running for judge, I believe.
Yeah.
He's smart. He is certainly capable. But this is where I think the question is hard to answer, because what was his sole purpose? He's a Democrat, right? The sole purpose for us and for being a tax attorney was he helped people not pay taxes, right?
That's true.
And like, as a Democrat, that's like, no, pay your fair share. But that's not what he does. Do you know what I mean? And so
absolutely,
I feel like Democrats are not true to who they are. They are true to the groups that they want to appeal to. And they never sit down and actually think about, wait a second, I'm helping people save as much of their tax money as possible by writing this off or writing that off. But here I am trying to run on stances of paying fair shares and, you know, taxing more people that earn more money. There's always that hypocritical aspect, which makes it hard. But on those things alone, if I didn't know that he did that before and I just knew him off of the ability for him to be a good attorney, sure, I would say, yeah, you got my vote. In fact, we even agreed to like go door to door for him, which we didn't do because we're fucking lazy. You know, but that was something we were like, sure, we'll support you. We don't know anybody else. Like, you've always done well by us. But it is just that I feel as though every single Democrat, God forgive me, this might be unfair, but I feel like all the ones that are running for even your local small governments, they are very hypocritical. They are not real people who sit down and say, you know what? I care about saving middle class people. I care about allowing you to keep more of your money. Anybody, keep more of your money. And they won't do that. They'll lobby behind the pay your fair share and all this other nonsense. But then behind the scenes, they're like, all right, we're going to figure out how to make sure you can keep more of your money. Does that make any sense?
It does, but it does. But I would say, okay, for example, locally, we have a couple. I mean, first of all, our old county auditor, Dusty Rhodes, is a nice guy, Blue Dog Democrat, old school Democrat. We disagree on some things, but he's an honorable man. But I find that in today's, and I was speaking more state and national politics than small local offices, but even it filters down to the local office. I cannot think. I mean, and I do politics not anymore. It's a hobby of mine, I should say. I cannot think. There is not one. I don't even like the governor of Kentucky. I think he's an asshole. He's a Democrat, which is shocking for Kentucky. But Andy Beshear. But I mean, I cannot think of one Democrat that I could hold up and say, you know what, we disagree, but he's an honorable guy. I think they're all have sold their souls because I think the Democrat Party has been taken over by the radical left wing. They've been shifting so far to the left, and now they're totally and completely eaten up with Trump derangement syndrome. So it's, you know, you cannot praise anything Republican because then verboten you're de facto praising Trump. So
and what's amazing to me, Andrew, like with that is the at least here, and I'm sure it's everywhere, but on that small level, the Democrats are more gross than the state, even the state side or the national. Like whether
he's Jason's
so
right.
Yes, down below.
Jason's right. We have some local Democrats that I mean, honestly, I hate to say this.
It's Andrew's coven, by the way. He has a coven that
it's a burn book.
Well, yeah, I tell you what, if those people had burst into flames, I really wouldn't urinate on them to put them out because that's how much I dislike these people. I mean, I hate to say it, and I'm being nice because it's not my show; it's James's show, and I don't want to debase it with a bunch of debauchery. But I will tell you that the Democrat Party has wholeheartedly, and it's as recently, it's within the last probably since definitely Trump's first term, they just definitely have gone down this path of, need I say anything more than their reaction? Here we are, you guys are wearing red on Charlie Kirk's birthday. Okay, and the fact of the matter is that by and large, I still to this day have not seen one national Democrat leader come out and hold the people that celebrated that man's assassination accountable for their vile and disgusting remarks and say as a party, you know, I am disgusted by your reaction to having somebody that preached for civil dialogue and not violence in any way, shape, or form. And you guys are celebrating the assassination of this man. I find it disgusting. And I'm saying they've adopted that as a party. They are, in my personal opinion, they are a party that celebrates a party. They are a death cult. And I just don't know how we go on, how we form a union with these people. Because honestly, I think that, hell, I honestly believe, if the United States got attacked by a foreign power, half these people would be out in the street cheering the goddamn thing.
Right.
Yep.
That's sad, isn't it? That's sad.
Not-
James,
not
James,
wrong.
what do you think? He's watching porn on the other station, I think.
Oh, poor James. The lights are on. Nobody's home.
Okay. Can y'all
Hear you
can
now.
y'all hear me at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can-
Now we can.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this has been a technical nightmare tonight. I heard about every other word.
Sorry, buddy.
Y'all might have been hearing each other, but I heard about every other word that y'all were saying. So I think we're going to go ahead and end it on that. But we had a good turnout in Pappas. I very much appreciate you coming on. You're going to have to come on again when I get the technical stuff worked out.
Absolutely,
once you're
my
back
brother.
home and
Absolutely.
all that. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and sign us off because this is a technical nightmare. Appreciate everybody. We had a good crowd tonight. Appreciate everybody coming
everyone.
on.
Bye, everybody.
We
Thank
will
you.
definitely continue this. So until next time, McGee, Kiefer, Candace, and Pappas are out.